Ah, are you here for Tuesday Club Online? Let's see who else we've got with us.
Oh, no, you two are too old. You're too hairy. Ah, you're just right. Yay! And if you're primary age, then you can join us too for Tuesday Club Online. Are you ready to warm up with Amy?
Good evening, Tuesday Club. Let's warm up, shall we? So give yourselves a good wriggle. Get ready, and we're gonna make some space. So we've got some space for later. And let's start by stretching our arms. So let's go once to the left. Very good. And stretch out to the right. Let's do that again, shall we? Once to the left. Stretch. And to the right. Stretch. Very good. And let's run on the spot as fast as you can go. Very good. And if you put your hands out in front and try and get your knees as high as you can go. So keep going up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job. And let's finish with some jumping jacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job, Tuesday Club.
Well, good evening, Tuesday Club. Good to see you this evening. Oh, been a warm one today, hasn't it? Nice and sunny. Going to sing some songs now, and we're going to start off with one we haven't done for a while. This is My God is so big, so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. God is so big, strong and mighty. Nothing God can do. The rivers are His. The mountains are His. The stars are His handiwork too. Let's see how this goes. Here we go. Don't forget, nice big bigs on the big bits. I have to leave that to you. Here we go. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. The rivers are His, the mountains are His, the stars are His handiwork too. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. Well, not too bad. I think we can go bigger on the bigs though. I think so. I'm going to leave a gap for you to go really big this time, and it'll be up to you. Okay, here we go. My God is so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. The rivers are His, the mountains are His, the stars are His handiwork too. My God is so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. Better. Now then, so it's a bit of Hawaiian. I can never do that. You're much better at doing that than I am. Okay. Here we go. 1 Timothy chapter 1 verse 15. 1 Timothy chapter 1 verse 15. Christ Jesus came into the world to save sinners. Christ Jesus came into the world to save sinners. That means you, that means me. None of us are perfect, it's got to agree. That means you, that means me. Jesus, who is perfect, died for you and me. Now I did forget to add that that means you, and that means me. None of us are perfect, got to agree. I can't remember the actions, but except for that bit, that means you, that means me. Do it again, do it again. 1 Timothy chapter 1 verse 15. 1 Timothy chapter 1 verse 15. Christ Jesus came Jesus came into the world to save sinners. That means you, that means me. None of us are perfect, you've got to agree. That means you, that means me. Jesus, who is perfect, died for you and me. Okay, this one is Don't Build Your House on a Sandy Land. Okay, here we go. Don't build your house on a sandy land. Don't build it too near the shore. Well, it might look kind of nice, but you have to build it twice, so you have to build your house once more. You better build your house upon a rock. Make a good foundation or a solid spot. All the storms may come and go, but the peace of God you will know. And again, don't build your house on a sandy land. Don't build it too near the shore. Well, it might look kind of nice, but you have to build it twice, or you have to build your house once more. You better build your house upon a rock. Make a good foundation on a solid spot. All the storms may come and go, but the peace of God you will know. Last time, don't build your house on a sandy land. Don't build it too near the shore. Well, it might be kind of nice, but you have to build it twice, so you have to build your house once more. You better build your house upon a rock. Make a good foundation on a solid spot. All the storms may come and go, but the peace of God you will know. Sit down.
Hello everyone, it's Jamie here and we have another memory verse for us to learn today. It's great to learn bits of the Bible, isn't it? Now don't worry, we've disconnected the doorbell, so we're not going to get interrupted today. And the bit of the Bible we're going to learn is from Daniel... Unbelievable. Okay, let's come and see who it is. Follow me. Let's come and see who it is. Hello?
Red Fox 2146.
Very mysterious. It's a suitcase. Let's come and see what's inside.
It's a message, but what does it say? It doesn't say anything. Maybe it's written in invisible ink.
Let's use our super solvent reactor fluid.
Actually working. What does it say?
For no other God can save
In this way.
Daniel chapter 3 verse 29.
What does save mean?
When the Bible uses the word saved, it doesn't use it in the way that, say, a goalkeeper would save a football. But the Bible uses the word saved to explain that we can be saved from something. The Bible says that we can be saved from our sin and the result of our sin, which is death. And we can be saved by Jesus' death on the cross for us. Let's learn that Bible verse now. Let's say it together. For no other God can save in this way. Daniel chapter 3 verse 29. That's great. Now you join in at home. Let's say it together. For no other God can save in this way. Daniel chapter 3 verse 29. Really good. Okay, we're going to make it a bit harder. We're going to put some cheeky faces on over some of the words to make it a bit harder for us. Let's say it again, joining at home. For no other God can save in this way. Daniel chapter 3, verse 29. Very good. Okay, let's make it even harder. Let's put some other faces on. Okay, let's say together. For no other God can save in this way. Daniel chapter 3, verse 29. Brilliant. Okay, now over to Caleb for a recap.
For no other God can save in this way. Daniel chapter 3, verse 29. Good. Now try it on your own.
Hi Tuesday Club, tonight's game is a story, and what we need you to do is every time you hear a particular character, you're going to make or say a particular action. So we're going to have a practice. I'm going to tell you who the characters are, and then you're going to have a go at doing it, and we've got some leaders to help us. So the first one is the old sea pirate, and he says, ho 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 and a bottle of rum.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
The next character is the bosun, and he's on the boat as well, and he is snoring, so you have to do 2 really loud snores. In our story we've got a boat, and the name of the boat is the Black Cloud, and when you hear the boat talked about, you have to say blow, wind, blow. Ready to practice?
Blow, wind, blow.
Now our story is set out at sea, and sometimes we'll hear seagulls, and I want you to flap your arms and to make really good seagull noises. And there's a pirate in our story called Long John Silver, and when you hear his name mentioned, you need to say, aha, me mateys.
Aha, me mateys.
And the last character we've got in our story is Polly Parrot. So I hope when you hear me say Polly Parrot in the story, you need to say, Polly wants a cracker. Ready to practice?
Polly wants a cracker.
Are you ready? Let's tell the story. Once upon a time there was an old sea pirate.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
And his bosun. Who sailed out on the ocean in their sturdy ship, the Black Cloud.
Blow, wind, blow.
Far off in the distance, they could hear the seagulls cry. The old sea pirate.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
And his bosun. Dropped anchor and went fast asleep, first making sure that all the hatches were secured on the Black Cloud.
Blow, wind, blow.
Now creeping up the side of the ship came Long John Silver.
Aha, me mateys.
And his parrot Polly,
Polly wants a cracker.
looking for the treasure of the old sea pirate.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
And his bosun. Looking for Long John Silver.
Aha, me mateys.
Was Croaky Crocodile, who had just swallowed a clock. Just as Long John Silver.
Aha, me mateys.
and Polly Parrot
Polly wants a cracker.
discovered the treasure chest, Croaky Crocodile's clock woke up the old sea pirate
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
and his bosun who thought it was the seagulls landing on the deck of the Black Cloud.
Blow, wind, blow.
Well, Long John Silver
Ahar, me mateys.
grabbed hold of Polly Parrot
Polly wants a cracker.
and turned to run, only in his haste he tripped overboard, much to the glee of Croaky Crocodile. The old sea pirate
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
and his bosun chased after them, but the Black Cloud
Blow, wind, blow.
rolled in the waves, clearing the deck of the seagulls and the old sea pirate
Yo ho ho.
and the bosun. Now, from a very good source, I'm told that the last anyone heard of all those characters was a strange sound in the night as the seagulls flew overhead, followed by Long John Silver
Ahar, me mateys.
and Polly Parrot,
Polly wants a cracker.
chased by the old sea pirate
Yo ho ho.
and his bosun, all swimming frantically away from Croaky Crocodile with his ticking clock, while to this day the Black Cloud
Blow, wind, blow.
is anchored far out at sea with its treasure chest still aboard.
Okay, right, so next up we're going to sing the song that we sang for the first time on Sunday morning. If you were at church Sunday morning, then we sang this song. It's from Philippians chapter 4 and verse 8. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent, okay, the words will come up there, and this is how it goes. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable. Gotta think about such things. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, you gotta think about such things. You gotta think about such things. Okay, have you got that? If you remember that. Okay, should we do it once more? Yeah, let's do it again. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, gotta think about such things. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, gotta think about such things. Gotta think about such things. Sit down. Now we've got one of the Christian heroes today, and so now it's over to Amy to tell us about her special person.
Good evening, Tuesday Club. I'd like to tell you a story this evening about a young woman whose name was Corrie, and she really, really loved Jesus, and her love for Jesus gave her the courage that she needed in some very, very tricky situations, and that courage also helped her save lots of people's lives in the end. Her name was Corrie. She was born in 1892 and she died about 40 years ago. She was born in a little village called Haarlem, which is in Holland. I wonder if you know where Holland is. This is where we are in England on the globe, and here you can see Germany and France, and that is Holland just in between, so it's actually not very far away. So she lived in Haarlem with her mother and her father and her 3 aunties and her 3 older siblings, her 2 sisters, Nellie and Betsy, and her older brother called Willem. And they lived together in a house. So it was always very, very busy where they lived. Their father was a watchmaker, and he was well known in their village. He was good at his job. And so they lived just above their little watchmaking shop in their house. So it was busy. There was always people coming and going. And her father would always tell people who were coming and going into the shop about Jesus, and they as a family would read their Bible together. And that's how Corrie became to know about Jesus, who she discovered had saved her from her sins. And she had a real love for Jesus, and she decided that she really wanted to tell everybody about him. And growing up, she would often go and visit the sick. She would also look after her mother, who was sick and dying herself. And she would sing and read the Bible with them. I wonder if you can remember Anne's talk from 2 weeks ago about Mary Jones, who walked very, very far for her Bible. I think that Corrie and Mary Jones would have been very good friends because they both believed that the Bible was a really important, special thing to have. And they believed that it was important to read about how much Jesus loved them and learn from them. Learn from the stories that were there. So she started a youth group for the girls in Haarlem. It was a little bit like Activate that you can go to once you finish Tuesday Club, but it was just for girls, and they did activities together, fun games and things, and Corrie would also read from the Bible when they met. When she was a little bit older, her mother passed away because she'd been so sick, and her family was very poor, and so instead of visiting the sick as often as she did, Corrie decided that she needed to help her dad, help him in his little shop, and as a watchmaker. So she trained very, very hard to become a watchmaker herself, and she ended up becoming the first female watchmaker in the whole of Holland, and she became very, very good at her job. Then later, when she had grown up and was much older, there was news had spread that a very evil man called Hitler was taking power in Germany, and as we saw in the globe, that wasn't very far away from Holland. It was just next door. And he had decided that he wanted to build an empire all across Europe, and he would stop at nothing to get what he wanted. Anybody that stood in his way, he would get rid of, and anybody who he disagreed with, he would also kill. And that included a lot of Jewish people and a lot of people that came from backgrounds that he didn't like. And that was called the start of World War II, which spread across Europe. Maybe your brothers and sisters know a little bit more about it if they're learning about it at school, and they can share maybe a little bit with you about what it was. Soon soldiers then even started coming to Holland, and to the little town of Harlem where Corrie and her family lived. That was a really very tricky time for Corrie. German soldiers started coming, and rules in her town started becoming stricter, and they started changing. Soon she wasn't allowed to leave her house after 9 o'clock in the evening to meet up with her friends. And then she couldn't meet after 8 o'clock in the evening, everybody had to be indoors. And then 7 o'clock, and then 6 o'clock, everybody had to be indoors. And then ration cards started being distributed, so you couldn't just go to the shops like we do now to get what you needed and whenever you wanted. There was only a certain amount of things that you could buy and only certain things that you could choose from. And if you didn't have a ration card, well, you couldn't buy any food at all. And so a lot of people were restricted from having ration cards at all so that they couldn't buy what they needed. And phones and radios were taken from people so that people couldn't communicate or complain. And Corrie soon discovered that a lot of the soldiers were taking away people in her town, and a lot of the Jews were taken into work camps and prisons. That they were forced out from their homes and away from their families to go and work in these work camps. And the conditions there were absolutely terrible. They were really, really bad. Many people got very, very sick because of the conditions there and died. And many people were even beaten and killed just immediately for being themselves and believing what they believed and because of where they came from. And Corrie heard these terrible stories that were coming back from these work camps, and she decided that she would start up a secret resistance operation in Harlem to help. She believed in a God who was in control and loved people, and she knew that this is not what God wanted. So she decided that she would help people that were being taken away. She slowly got together lots of people from around the town, secretly, to help her give out money and ration cards so that people could eat and get enough food. She provided transport so that people could escape, and she also provided houses and places that people could stay so that they could hide, so that they wouldn't be taken away. And her shop ended up being the perfect place for them to start their secret underground, because there was always so much going on. People were coming and going in their little shop, and so nobody really suspected. It was the perfect disguise for them. No one suspected that people were coming in and talking about where to hide Jews or where to get ration cards from. They thought it was just a normal little shop. And Corrie was a very brave woman for doing this. It wasn't easy, it wasn't fun, and it wasn't very nice, really. It was very, very difficult to do, and she was extremely brave by doing it. It was hard, and it was an extremely dangerous job. She knew the whole time that if anybody found out that she had just been helping Jews and that she had been looking after them and starting this underground group, that she herself would be taken away to one of these camps and that she herself could really be killed ultimately. So it was extremely, extremely brave of her to do, to risk her own life to look after other people in the town. But Corrie believed that it was still what God wanted her to do, and she believed that God was a God who's in control and that he would look after her, and that if this was his will, she should do it. So she kept working away secretly until Corrie had saved over 800 people. Isn't that amazing? 800 people through one woman working away and just believing that God was in control and giving her the courage that she needed. She ended up saving 800 lives. That's about maybe as many people at your primary school, probably more. And one way that she ended up doing this to hide Jews is that she would send architects from around the town to go and inspect hiding places for people to hide. An architect is someone who knows the ins and outs of buildings and how buildings are structured and held together. And so they would go around knocking on walls to see whether behind the wall there was some space where they could hide some people, or whether it was hollow, or whether it was just normal wall. And Corrie had one of these rooms in her house. In it, she could hide 7 people standing up behind the wall. And so what they would do here is plaster up the wall again so that it sounded, when you knocked on the wall, like there was nothing behind it. But here in her shelf, you can see there was a little hole with a little slidey door. So when it was slid shut, it looked like a normal wall. But when it was opened, you could crawl through and hide away. And so this is what Corrie did. This was her actual bedroom. They had a little buzzer downstairs under the worktop where her father's watchmaking shop was. And so they would practice drills. Her 7 Jewish friends lived upstairs. And then when a German soldier would come, she would press on the buzzer, and very, very carefully and quietly, they would crawl into the hiding place. And they never knew when it would be the last time that they would see Corrie. They didn't know whether maybe the soldier this time was coming to get Corrie and take her away, if they had found out that Corrie had been helping hide people. And so inside the room, they always had a little mattress and some food prepared in case it was the last time that they saw her. And so they would have all those things prepared so that when it was safe again, they could come out. And one night, a group of soldiers did come. In the middle of the night, they started ferociously knocking on the door and demanding that they find Corrie, and that Corrie told them where they had hidden people in her house. Someone had told them that Corrie had been hiding people, and so Corrie would now be taken away to one of these work camps. She was terrified, but she pressed the buzzer just in time, and her friends upstairs had time to hide away into the hiding place. And the soldiers came around. They came around into her room at one point and started knocking on the walls to find whether there was a hiding place behind one of the walls. But you know what? Corrie had been praying, and because she believed that God was a God who was in control, none of them were found. They couldn't find anywhere. Now, they still knew that Corrie had been working away and helping 800 other people escape. They knew that for sure. And although Corrie believed that God is a God who is in control and would look after her, she did think that one day it's possible that this would happen, that she would be taken to prison. And so in the corner of her room, she had a little pillowcase that was a pack ready for her. It might have looked a little bit like this, so that in case anybody ever came to take her away, she would be ready. She knew that she might end up for weeks, maybe months, maybe even years in a work camp with nothing else, no real good food, no clothing with her, none of her belongings could be taken with her, with nothing but a bed and maybe a mattress if she was lucky. So there were a few things that she would like to secretly take with her. And in her pillowcase, she had, I wonder what you would have taken. She had some clothes to keep her warm. She wouldn't have had a blanket or anything. She had some soap so that she could clean herself. She had, some vitamins that she kept with her so that she could stay healthy. And most importantly, she had a Bible in her pillowcase. This is why I think she would have been so much, this is why she was so much like Mary Jones, and I think she would have been good friends with Mary Jones, because she would have wanted to read from the Bible. She knew that was where her comfort came from, and she knew that she would have wanted to hear from God when she was in prison. And there were stories in the Bible. I wonder if you can think of any Christian people in the Bible who were stuck in prison and also needed to believe that God was in control. I wonder if you can think of any. We might come back to that at the end. And she would find comfort knowing that God looked after them and would also look after her. But the tricky thing was her pillowcase was right in front of her hiding place. It was right in front of the door of where her friends had been hiding. And she was worried that if she went anywhere near the hiding place, that the soldiers might suspect her and might go and look and might end up finding her friends. So she was so torn. Does she go and does she get the things that she needs to survive and her Bible that she knew would bring her comfort? She didn't know how long she would be going for. Or did she leave it and not let her friends be found? It was very tricky. She could have easily said, I've already saved 800 people and I've risked my own life. Now is time to look after me. I need to go and take this so that I can be safe in prison. 7 people won't make any difference, will they? But she followed the guard straight out of her room and didn't go back for it. And her friends stayed safe. She got a message later saying that they hadn't been found and that they had escaped safely. She was very, very brave. And she could leave knowing that God was in control, that she had everything that she had with her. She didn't need her pack because God would look after her, and everything she needed was already in her heart. God would be with her. Now, Corrie's story doesn't finish there. She goes on to do some amazing things, and God continues to look after her while she's in the work camp, in the horrible, horrible conditions. I wonder if you can ask your mums and dads if they know anything else about Corrie, about how God continued to help her. But the thing is, that God that was in control, who looked after the stories that we hear at Tuesday Club, the God in the Bible that we hear about, who helped Joseph while he was in prison, or Daniel while he was in the lion's den, and saved Jonah when he was in the whale. He's the same God that looked after Corrie while she was in that work camp. And she knew that. And it's the same God that is still alive today. And God wants you to put your trust in him today, boys and girls, because he knows that he is a God who is in control. And if you follow him, he will be with you in all situations, even if it's a tricky situation like Corrie went through. He is a God worth putting your trust in, because he is a God from the Bible. He looked after Corrie, and he looks after you too. Put your trust in him today.
Hello Tuesday Club. Well, I wonder if you've ever wondered why ice cubes are so boring. I mean, why would you just put water into an ice cube tray? Now, I know that some people have very fancy ice cube trays, so you might have ones that make crazy shapes. These ones make kangaroos, but they're jolly tricky to get out. So let's get rid of these watery ice cubes and think of something a little bit more exciting that we could put inside instead. Now, we could go for the healthy option and have little slices of fruit. Maybe that would work. And we could fill up our ice cube trays and then pour in some water and freeze them and see what happened. But maybe we could go a little bit different and we could think of some slightly more adventurous ideas. So I could try, what would happen if I put a penny in, or a little key, or a bolt, or a rucksack clip, or a paper clip, or some currants, or a few peanuts perhaps. What about some jelly beans? Now they would make good ice cubes, maybe one in each. Or a mint straw, do you think that would work? It's worth a try. I've got a bit of dried apricot. I could squeeze a whole dried apricot in there, and maybe I could think of a few other things before pouring in my water and putting it into the freezer. Well, I don't know about you, but I think you could have some fun doing that. But you might just have to check whether it's an okay idea before you do such a thing as this. Okay, hope you have fun. Bye for now.
So unfortunately, because of the lockdown, we can't do Hunt the Leader this year, but I hope you enjoyed seeing some of us in costumes in today's game. And have a great week, and we'll see you all again soon.